Digital transformation with PLM. PLM is one of those phrases that we hear bandied about quite a lot. It means product lifecycle management, but it's one of those three-letter acronyms that can be a bit of a mystery to many companies. So what I'm going to try to do in this presentation is explain a little bit more about PLM, and specifically in context with regards to digital transformation and why companies use PLM to enable that. So what does digital transformation look like for our customers? Typically, we start off looking at diagrams like this. My apologies, sorry. We look at diagrams like this. This is quite a common definition of what a company looks like. We know that businesses know what systems they've got, but the challenge often becomes understanding a little bit how what their inefficiencies are between the departments, between different locations, or even the divisions within the business. We know that that's a problem. We also understand that each department in itself tends to be quite highly efficient. So we know that design and engineering might be particularly efficient because they use a PDM system, or sales might be efficient because they contain all their information within inside of CRM. So we know that that data is available. The issue sometimes is how we collaborate that information, how we share it between departments can easily become outdated. And what we're looking to do, what the goal of digital transformation is centralizing the workflows and making sure that people have access to the most up-to-date information whenever and wherever it's needed. So this is our goal with digital transformation. So next question. Why do we need this type of strategy? Well, digital transformation is required to address quite a few inefficiencies within a company. It's quite a small world, and it's getting smaller with globalization. And we have the ability to work with other teams inside and outside our organization. And there's not only different file formats to worry about, but there's different paradigms of file sharing, getting data to someone else without having to re-enter it, retype it, resend it. All of those things are a problem. And we're going to identify in this presentation those process bottlenecks and look at ways we can move around it. Now, PLM often starts with concepts. I want to talk about concepts all the way through up to supply chain and supply collaboration. And speaking of collaboration, we're also going to talk about how we can overcome the lack of collaboration between departments and make sure everybody's on the same page. Make sure everyone is working with the same set of data and not doing manual tasks. And to kind of sort of prove that, I'm going to try and use real world information on this. As part of our pre-sales process, we're often asked to carry out a return on investment analysis. What if we implemented investing in new technologies, what would that look like for us? So this is a really common survey that we do as part of that process. And what we find is the top 5, 6 items are always really similar from one company to another one. These are the issues that most companies face. And I'm sure as you look at that, you'll recognize some of them. But it's really interesting. The top 2 are most commonly the top 2. Waiting for people to do their jobs and not having all the information you need to do your job effectively. So what does that mean for you as a business? Well, so bringing a product to market is often a challenge, and sometimes it's a mystery that you even got it out the door or it's been assembled. And not everything goes as planned during that process. We know change happens. And so how do we get control around all of these moving parts in the process? And specifically, when we're dealing with kind of non-value added tasks, you know, searching for information, how do we sort of wrest that back and put it in our control? Well, we deliver 2 solutions in that area. And you've probably heard the acronym PDM before, Product Data Management, and of course, PLM, Product Lifecycle Management, which is the purpose of this presentation. And that's how we kind of alleviate that. So as a result of a digital transformation process, what goals do organizations have that they want that digital transformation to deliver? Well, this is it in a nutshell, really. Faster time to market. We want to see an improvement in collaboration between teams, making it easier with the platform to exchange data, have transparency of who's doing what in a project. And if we have a central source of organized data, internal and external stakeholders can collaborate on designs regardless of the design tool. We can increase product development agility, giving your organization the ability to make changes more rapidly from concept to production, greater innovation, fewer iteration cycles on design, lower your costs. And we can better leverage your data to automate processes and give additional value to your customers. We can also improve supply chain agility, making it possible to stay connected 24/7 to your global supply chain with access anywhere, anytime to your information that your extended organization needs, whether that be for quoting or procurement, supplier management, it doesn't matter. And we can even give your suppliers access to that information, making sure it's accurate and up to date. And if we can reduce time spent on low value tasks, we can reduce wasted time and effort and give everybody more time to spend on the higher value tasks. With a centralized data approach and workflow automation speeding up each phase of a product's development. And finally, all that results in reducing defects and reducing non-conformities, providing automated workflows for quality processes to track and record change, as well as analyze quality metrics, preventing issues. We even have real-time dashboards so we can see what the current issue status is. Makes it easy for reporting. So what's our solution for these problems and to achieve those goals? That for us is product lifecycle management, back to PLM. Now, this is a bit of a rehash of one of the earlier slides, and this is kind of where we kind of approach PLM actually. So in regard to this, we saw a slide earlier where we talked about how each department is inefficient within itself, but it lacks efficiency when collaborating. But it's almost worth doubling down on that point, that we know sales makes a great use of CRM systems. We know that engineering makes a great deal of use out of PDM systems. Of course, Vault is one of our products as well. Purchasing, use ERP, might send suppliers data all zipped up. To control production, we might use an MES system. And for servicing, people might rely on electronic documentation like PDFs. But in order for them to do their jobs, they need information. So the best example is purchasing. In order to purchase long lead items, need a bill of material that's been delivered from engineering, probably from in their PDM products. And we need to ensure that that data is accurate and up to date. And so that's where product lifecycle management comes in. So collaboration and data management for coordinating all the departments is only typically possible with another system, using a PLM system. PLM looks at product data holistically, not just from an engineering perspective, but or any other department for that matter. It's from the business's point of view. And it makes data easy to access. And it also, and this is a very important part of PLM, interfaces to pre-existing systems. So we're not talking about replacing PDM or ERP, we're talking about enhancing them. And this means all the information stored is stored in a structured manner. It takes over from old existing manual systems like Excel spreadsheets, for example. So data that was typically hidden or could easily be out of date is now becoming an intelligent object with attributes. Documents aren't like removed, they're still valuable, they can still be assigned, but it's the object that's the center of our attention. And users then benefit from a single source of information and the publication of relevant information from their own system out and back again. And this ensures that the correct data is used all the time. Now, PLM can also map really complex structures and data models. So above all, it maps associated processes. So for example, change processes, issue management, requirement definitions, preparation of offers, all of those kind of processes can be mapped within this. And these process flows forward the information to the people that need it. And if necessary, can actually ask them to carry on with the task, fill in more information, and then pass it on to other people within the business. If we can do this in a timely manner, and we're supported by things like to-do lists and email requests and personal task lists and all this kind of thing, then we can deliver an effective strategy for change. The system-guided digital handling of these processes frees employees from manually formulated reports. So you don't have to create this information yourself. And it reduces the queries that you get from colleagues, from tasks, from emails, or a conversation in the corridor. All of this information is stored in the system and is accessible to everyone. The key thing with PLM is it links three key important elements of your business together: your data, your processes, and your people. Okay, so benefits now. What are the outcomes of implementing a solution like this? Well, there's four key outcomes our customers talk to us about: how much time that they save, an improvement in quality, both to their products and their day-to-day operational systems. This helps in reducing costs when we're delivering new products or projects, and it allows us to increase capacity. Now, don't just take my word for it. This is a real-world example that a customer gave a colleague of mine last week, and I thought it was so good, I asked their permission to use it in this presentation. So this particular customer, we've implemented a sales to engineering process for them. And this replaced a pre-existing system that was highly manual, that used Excel and a few other systems. And we re-digitized that into a single place where this process is managed and run. And there's three parts of this process. There's pre-design, design, and checking. And one of the things that they did is, after implementing the solution, they did a study, a bit of a time and motion study, to see if what we'd offered and what we discussed and what they were expecting actually came about. What time savings did they have, the old system versus the new system? So the person who kind of created the old system, who's something of an expert in it, did a bit of a time and materials study on it, and he recorded the amount of time it took to create the old forms and compared it to the creation of the new forms that were digitized for them. And you can kind of see the numbers at the bottom. The old pre-designed form took around 2 minutes to create and complete, but now it takes 15 seconds. The old design form took 5 minutes, 35 seconds to create. Now it's 15 seconds. There's a bit of a pattern on the 15 seconds. And then the last one on the checking, it took over 3 minutes, but now again, it's 15 seconds. And by the way, the 15 seconds was 3 clicks. And he just needed to quantify how long it took to click. So he chose 5 seconds as his time duration. So why is that important? Because obviously there's a time saving. But for them, they worked out that traditionally, this job would take around 10, 11 minutes. But now it takes no more than 45 seconds, which is approximately saving about 10 minutes per job. The gain for this particular company about transforming their pre-existing manual processes and digitizing them in PLM was that as they do 8,000 jobs per year, that saves them over 80,000 minutes, or 1,333 non-value added task hours have been saved. It proved its worth with the implementation of just a single process, and we're still doing more with them. So listen, thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation.